Well, hello there. I'm Jacob.
And I'm Luke.
We are
of
the
the Thorin
Alliance.
Alliance. If you like our content, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. And tell us, what are we doing in today's video, Jacob?
We are reviewing the new Fantastic Beasts movie, The Secrets of Dumbledore. Since you watched the movie twice, Luke, can you summarize the plot in the movie in a non-spoiler way, Luke?
Yeah, so this movie carries on directly from the second Fantastic Beast. And where we're left off is we've discovered that Dumbledore and Grindelwald are in some way intertwined by this charm and that they can't make moves against each other. Grindelwald wants to start a war against the Muggle society. He believes that the wizards shouldn't live in oppression and have to hide in secrecy. They are the ones with the powers. They should be the ones in charge, and the Muggles should obey to them. And Dumbledore wants to prevent this, but he can't directly move against Grindelwald, so he has to acquire the help of some friends that will be able to do the work for him. But Dumbledore, being the smart person he is, he's got all these secret plans that he can't let people in on because then they won't come to fruition. So in this, we get to see the return of the familiar faces. So we get to see Newt Scamander. We get to see his brother, who is still an aura with the British Ministry of Magic, but he is helping out this time, where in the last movie he was against Newt and didn't want to help fight Grindelwald. We get to see a new character, Lally, join, who is meant to be a professor at Hogwarts, and we also get Jacob as a returning character. And we don't, unfortunately, get to see much of Newt's love interest in this film, but she is still part of the franchise, and I'm sure we'll see her in the next one. So ultimately, they're trying to make moves against Grindelwald and prevent what he's trying to do. Grindelwald is trying to get the other wizards to join his allegiance, and basically by telling them things like, humans are filthy, dirty people. They're going to ruin this world if we let them, because he can see glimpses of the future and he can predict that world wars and different things are coming and that wizards should step in and prevent this. So they go on a chase around Europe trying to stop this, and Grindelwald is trying to sneak his way into becoming in power of the whole wizarding world, because coincidentally at the same time it's time for a new election and a new leader of the wizarding world, and Grindelwald feels that he is the perfect match for that. And this movie, without giving too much away, has a real kind of heist Ocean's 11 vibe to it, where in order to prevent Grindelwald, they need to constantly change their plan and not all be aware of it and keep things a secret, so that Grindelwald can't predict their next move. And this is ultimately done through the use of copies of Newt's case, which is where you get this kind of Ocean's 11 vibe, and I think it works really well for this film. And the rest, you're going to have to see the movie. I'm not going to ruin it for you. Is there anything you think I've left out?
I think that's a pretty good summary. I think it very much feels like a chess match, and Dumbledore and Grindelwald can't move against each other, and I think it really does a good job with that. And I think if you like those elements, I think you'll enjoy this one. I think it definitely does a better job than the second one, the crimes of Grindelwald. And yeah, I think it does a really good job. I don't see why people aren't saying it's too long or saying it's slower. I really enjoyed the pace, and I think if you compare it too much to Harry Potter, I guess it's never gonna surprise. do as well as what you think it can do. So yeah,
I think it complements the Harry Potter world opposed to seeing it as not as good, where some people do. I think it complements it well. This movie actually incorporates the Beast a lot more, which I like. I felt the second film didn't as much as the first one did. The second film felt very political, but this movie is in fact way more political but interesting. So I actually really liked that they did that, and I guess maybe the second movie needed to be that way to set up the third one. But I don't have many criticisms of it, which you'll see when I get to the giving my rating for it.
and we also get introduced to a creature that is very important to the plot, and that's why it's a little bit more towards the beast side. What I think is cool that they did that.
Yeah, they introduce a character, a beast called Chillin, which is, I don't know, it's kind of a mix between I imagine like a griffin kind of thing, but without wings. And it becomes important because it's believed in the wizarding world that when a Chillin is born, that a new leader needs to be elected, and that the Chillin is pure of heart and can see people's soul and can work out if someone else is pure of heart, and then thus determining who should be the leader of the wizarding world, because only those that are pure of heart deserve it. And that's what links the beast to the whole thing, and this movie is kind of a heist of getting the Chillin to where it needs to be and preventing Grindelwald from being able to get it. So it works really well. Should we move into a verdict?
Yes.
Do you want to go first and give us your rating and why?
Okay, out of 100%, I gave it 85%. I think it does quite a lot of things well, and obviously not everything is perfect. I just really enjoyed the film. I don't really see why it's getting so much negativity. I know some people say it's a slow film. It's not as good as the other Harry Potters. The casting decision with firing Johnny Depp, all this thing. My mindset is that I'm just seeing it as a film, and I was entertained, and at the end of the day, I think that's what matters. And it did its job. It told a story of Dumbledore, and I think it did a really good job. Jude Law did a fantastic performance, and the person that they got to recast as Johnny Depp, he did a great job. And difference with this film compared to the second film, I'm actually looking forward to the next Fantastic Beast. What with the other film, the Crimes Against Grindelwald, I actually wasn't looking forward to this film, so that should tell you what it did its job. And I think it deserves the score. I don't see why Rotten Tomato are giving it such low scores, because the slow parts I think were entertaining with certain scenes. Like, it was all a well done film, and I don't really see the why it's getting negativity. Yes.
Yeah, totally agree. I've seen it twice. I can't really fault it too much. There's minor plot holes or things that I may have done differently if I was in their shoes, but that doesn't make it a poor film. It scores really well for me in most categories. It was entertaining. It wasn't too long. I don't think it was slow at all. Watching it twice, I still felt surprised by certain things, or this whole heist element. Rewatching it a second time made it actually better, because I was able to watch the sleight of hand tricks occur, knowing what's going to happen, which when you first watch the movie, you're kind of surprised by it all. So I think it did a good job with that. All the acting was standout. Jude Law, I think he is a really good young Dumbledore. Newt Scamander is great. I think the casting of him has been perfect. He is exactly who I imagine Newt Scamander would be. Jacob is always as funny in it as a character. I really like the change of who they casted as Grindelwald. I think this actor portrayed this charisma that was needed, because in this movie Grindelwald is trying to become a leader and inspire people to take on his journey of evil. I think Johnny Depp comes across psychotic, and I don't think he has that same effect. So I'm glad with the choice they went. I actually probably would love to have seen the original movies recut, like re-edited with him in it and seeing what it was like, but I don't think that's likely to occur. In the end, the rating I gave it was 90%. When I was talking about it prior to doing the score and going through our different criteria, I actually thought it was going to get a bit higher than that. So I thought it was going to be about a 95%. So still 90 is a very high score. It's up there.
Very high score.
Yeah, it's up there with the scores we gave the Batman. I actually think it was a better movie than the Batman, even though I love the Batman franchise more. I like this actually. I found it more entertaining than the Batman. And I'm really looking forward to the next movie because it's set it up really well. And the good thing about this movie is the way it's ended, it wasn't sequel baited.
No.
They still haven't captured Grindelwald, but ultimately his efforts of what he's trying to achieve have fizzled down immensely. That the franchise could end here and you'd be fine with that. You just assume that he went into hiding. So I think it's a good movie, great score, and can't wait for the next one. Moving into some spoiler discussions. If you haven't seen the movie, you might want to turn it off from here. Jacob, what do you want to talk about first?
I guess the main problem that I have, and I know we have spoken about it when we left the cinema, and that was the first thing I brought up, and you agree with me, is that why did the speaker of whatever I would assume the equivalent of the housing world, that would basically be the speaker now, politician, thought it was a great idea to let Grindelwald be one of the three candidates. To me, it doesn't make sense. It was a plot hole to me, but now I agree with you. I can't wrap my brain around.
It just lacked explanation. So he's the current leader of the Wizarding World. He has to hand down his mantle because because the Chillin was born. I guess that's the only logical reason I can assume for this. And I think Dumbledore knows that he's going to make a poor decision, and he warns him through Newt and tells him to make the right decision, not the easy decision. And for some reason, he decides to get rid of Grindelwald's crimes and say they have no evidence against it.
Even though he killed people.
And then Grindelwald... See, the thing is, Grindelwald and all the people and his followers want him to be on the ballot and have the option to become the leader. And ultimately, this politician justifies it by saying, we will let him be on the ballot but
get rid of them.
Because people won't vote for him. He said, let him be on there, and the people won't vote for him. He will lose, and we will see that he is a bad person, and people will stop following him.
Yeah, that didn't make sense.
But he said, but if we don't let him be on the ballot, blood will be on the street, and people will riot. And I actually believe that. I think that's a good reason. I think at that point I was still under the impression he was a good guy. That he was saying, we have to give him a chance, because if he realises that people don't agree with him, then he'll disappear and he'll stop doing what he's doing. But if we don't give him a chance, then who knows what he might do. So I believe that, and I thought that was actually a good reason. But then later on we come to realise that they must be friends of some sort. He sees that Grindelwald has killed the Chillin, and he has bewitched it so that it will come to life and rig the election, and he is completely fine with that.
Yes.
So where I don't think it's a plot hole, I just think it wasn't explained. We just have to assume that this guy is friends with Grindelwald, and he agrees with Grindelwald's plans, because they don't tell you why, and he clearly is all right with it. So it's just not a plot hole. It's just they don't explain it. There's a gap. There's a plot gap opposed to a plot hole.
Do you think it's going to be in a deleted scene or something that they filmed that storyline but they cut out of the movie? Something has to explain that.
Yeah, I feel like maybe it was a scene that was taken out, because I would have been all right with if the politician was like, yeah, okay, like, we'll let Grindelwald run, that's fine. He's not going to win, we'll let him run. And then him to be unaware that Chillin was, bewitched, and then the Chillin votes for him, and he goes, well, the Chillin's spoken. Like, I can't, my hands are tied. And you go, okay, maybe he's still a good guy, but we know that he was part of it, and he even tried to when we saw the real chill, and he's like, no, this one's alive, you can see, and it dies in his hand. So he was still trying to defend Grindelwald up until his last breath. Well, he's not dead, but like up until people completely gave up and said, you know, he's cheated here. He was still trying to defend him. So I wonder if he's going to suffer consequences for ultimately trying to rig an election. But we don't see that. So that, yeah, it lacked a bit of explanation. But I truly believed his justification of, if we don't give him a chance, it's gonna be worse off. Let's let him run and let's let him lose. It's kind of like our Australian election, you know. There's or any election around the world, there's always going to be radical parties.
And it's like Clive Palmer.
Yeah, and it's like, we have to let him run because they're not going to win. But if we don't let him run, we're denying people the chance. So I see that, but then to rig the election in favour of the person that you didn't think should have ran in the first place, no, that's just evil. What other talking point?
I know a lot of people are getting confused about the title, but to me, it's more about the family secrets, not Albus Dumbledore's secret. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, so some people can say, oh, the secret was that Dumbledore is gay and he was in love with Grindelwald, or is the secret the fact that Dumbledore was originally agreed with Grindelwald and wanted to see the wizards take over the world, but then he changed his mind? Is that the secret? Is the secret the fact that he seemed to have, even though Grindelwald was one step ahead, secretly Dumbledore was one step ahead of Grindelwald? Is that what they mean by secrets? Or is it the fact that, is it just all of it? Or as you said, or is it the secrets of his family, you know, of what his brother knew and what his brother did? Is it the fact that he possibly killed his sister? Is it the fact that his sister was a... can't think of the name, but whatever Credence is.
Yeah.
Like there's so many, or is it just implying that there's just so many? It is the secrets. There's lots of secrets.
Secrets of the family.
Yeah, it's maybe it's multi-level. Like the whole movie really was about Dumbledore's secrets, the family secrets, and Albus himself. So there was, I think the title was perfectly correct because it was about his secrets. For me, it's more about. No, I guess I wouldn't say that was a secret. The fact that he seemed to know everything, that's not really a secret. That's just like, the sneakiness of Dumbledore. But yeah, I think there was secrets to his family, and that, well, it kind of sparks the whole thing that Grindelwald wants Credence to murder Albus Dumbledore, based upon this one secret that his family has, that Credence is a Dumbledore. So that's probably the main secret of it. But I don't see why people have a problem with it. I can see why you might question why it's still called Fantastic Beasts, but they do make the Beast a big part of it. Standout acting performance for you?
Probably Jude Law, or the actor that plays Jacob.
I agree. I think Jude Law is the perfect mix for Dumbledore. I kind of like that you can see that he's, as a young Dumbledore, he still has a beard, but like as he gets older, he obviously must just grow his beard for the rest of his life. But I liked that they added that he still had a beard, but he's like a young beard.
What's your standout?
Yeah, the same. Jacob was very, very good in this, and it's an interesting mix that they add a Muggle as part of their team, but he does it perfectly. He's very funny. I like the scene where he's like showing off his wand to the other kids at Hogwarts. There's just lots of things he does well in that. Any like really interesting scenes that you think are worth talking about?
I think it's worth talking about the crab scene. I could see people saying that's a slow scene and drag down the movie, but I just think that scene was so entertaining and was just worth a laugh, and that was really entertaining.
Yeah, it's a interesting scene because the idea is, you know, that the main character's brother has been imprisoned by the Ministry of Magic, but then they're
Germany.
Yeah, so they put him in some kind of not your standard prison, one where there's like this creature that seems to kill people when their light runs out, and then there's like little versions of this same creature, these crabs running around, and the fact that Albus Dumbledore knew that he would get arrested and he'd get taken to this place, and that the only way to get out would be the fact they would need a port key.
And to do that crap there.
The port, well, I guess Albus maybe didn't know that, but that there's the port key that was going to save them at the last second, and the only way they were going to get the port key is the fact that Albus tactically got one that had a gold, like, picture on it, because they knew that the Niffler would take it. It's like there's a lot of layers to this that doesn't quite add up. And that by doing that, they'd escape eventually through so many things going right, but ultimately put their life at risk. And then we've got the awkward scene where he's like kind of like mimicking crab walking, and the crabs follow him because he's worked out that if you distract them and get them to mimic you, it makes them less aggressive, which is a really funny scene.
It was.
But it's probably one of those scenes where, was it necessary? Like,
No.
Did the character need to be arrested, and did he need to go there? Because it's not as though it was part of a bigger plan. Like, they needed to go there to acquire something that would help in the end. I think it was purely
For entertainment and for a while.
that, and maybe you could justify as it was all part of the plan, that Dumbledore knew in order to fool Grindelwald, they need to have multiple plans go seemingly wrong, but not wrong. So he would have been like, oh, he's came to get me, but he's been arrested. We dodged that bullet. But really, that was part of the plan. So whilst that was happening, they were able to, because like the whole idea that they wanted Jacob to be seen as an assassin, even though he had a wand with no claw, that was just all part of a bigger plan. But it's a scene that, if you removed it from the film, it would still have completely worked. I guess maybe they could have had a different side mission. It was an odd one to put them all at such risk.
So do you still feel like the movie would have been fine without Johnny Depp? Because a lot of people are really passionate and, are upset that he got fired. Like, at first I was, in the trailer reaction, I was like, oh, I couldn't, but now that I've seen it, I'm still, upset that it happened, but, I'm not as torn now. I'm kind of 50-50.
I don't think he deserved to be fired. I don't think your personal life should matter in terms of films. Like, I'm not justifying everything. If someone's a murderer, then maybe not. But Johnny Depp wasn't, I don't think what he did in his own personal life warrant us to go, he's cancelled, can't be in things anymore. Because it's not true, he's still in movies. I think The Replacement did a really good job.
Yeah.
If Johnny Depp was still in it, would he have done a good job? Yeah, I certainly would have, and it wouldn't have mattered. But The Replacement was good. If The Replacement was bad, then it would have been a problem. But The Replacement was really good, so it is what it is. It's just, so what, they replaced him. But if The Replacement was horrible, then I would have been disappointed.
And the same thing happened to the actor that played Credence. He's not going to be playing the Flash and Credence anymore.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, celebrities do things in their personal life, and it affects movies we look forward to. But you think of other movie franchises where they've changed. Like, I believe in the original Harry Potter, Dumbledore changed.
Yeah.
But most people wouldn't even have noticed. And it's fine. Long as the actor does a good job, no one questions. But if you replace someone and then the person that comes in is horrible, then that's the only time it's a problem. So long as they do a good job, no foul.
So where do you feel like they can take the storyline? Because I believe there's going to be 2 more Fantastic Beasts. So what would you like them to do for the 4th one?
Well, I guess they're going to be chasing Grindelwald. I think Grindelwald will have no other option but to continue what he's doing, but in secrecy, because he is obviously a criminal now, once again. So it'll be him doing it in secrecy and building up some kind of army. And, Dumbledore now has the ability to, work against him and actually potentially kill him because he is no longer bound by this pendant lock thing. So I think that's the direction of it, and it's probably going to take 2 films to do so. Is there anything in this film that you thought would have happened that didn't? Like, one for me is I had this weird feeling that the Chillin was going to bow to Jacob, and Jacob was somehow going to become the head of the wizarding world, even though he wasn't a wizard.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
I don't know if I wanted it to happen. I just really felt that was going to happen. I just had this weird sense that that's where it was leading to. The fact that Dumbledore made a big speech to him about him being full of heart, and and I just thought it was leading up to that. But it obviously didn't. Is there anything else that you thought was going to happen and didn't?
Maybe Newt going out with the assistant. I would assume that's going to be something for the 4th movie. Like, he has to choose which of the 2 love interests is right for him. The girl that is more busy, or the girl that has the same interests that he has? Yeah,
I really felt that they were trying to plant a seed that she was in love with him.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, that she was like, when he goes, oh, this is my irreplaceable assistant. She's been with me for 7 years. She's like, no, 8 years and 100 and something days. Like she knew, or was that them just trying to imply that she's really efficient and she knows everything? But it really seemed that I got the sense that she was in love with him, and he wasn't aware of it or hasn't yet. And I don't know where I want that to go. I don't care too much for his original love interest. Like, she's an okay character, but she's nothing, special. Like, I don't care who he ends up with. I think either are fine.
And did you notice one of the points in the movie is that Dumbledore is a lonely soul? Throughout this movie and the main trilogy, he's kind of
Yeah, but he's loved by lots, though, and he has lots of friends. But then Grindelwald makes this whole thing that, who's going to love you now? Because we've like broken the pendant, and it's like, well, lots of people. Or are they implying that, if you're a gay male in the Wizarding world, that like no one else, they're super rare? But I guess we do have to assume this movie's it's like the early 1900s or something.
Yeah, 1920s or 30s.
Yeah, so I guess at that time and place in Wizarding and non-Wizarding world, you'd assume that being openly gay is probably looked down upon, or it'd be quite rare. So maybe that's what he means by that.
What was your thoughts about the creature first going to Dumbledore, and then Dumbledore going, I don't deserve this title, and then the creature goes to this politician that we don't care about? It's like, okay.
I don't mind that it went to the politician. I just felt it wasn't given the equal chance for the other politician, because we didn't even see him in the scene.
No.
And then in terms of the Dumbledore thing, that's where I really thought it was going to go to Jacob, and then
or his brother. I thought.
Yeah, I don't know if his brother's pure of heart, because his brother was avoiding Credence, so I guess he's probably not a great person. But it surprised me that Dumbledore is considered to have a perfect soul. Like, I don't doubt it, because we've seen all the good things he does, but we do know that at some point he was going to help Grindelwald. So you'd think if this Chillin sees all, we would know that at some point he was not a great person. I just really thought it was going to be Jacob, and then Jacob was going to be like, I can't do this. I don't know anything about the magical world. But then he would have maybe got like some kind of job or something in the Wizarding world as being like a consultant of like Muggles. Just like Ron's dad is like, he's part of like the Muggle department at the Ministry of Magic, where he's like wants to know like how a rubber ducky works and all these like different things. Like, I thought maybe his role could have been helping them understand the non-magical world. The only one thing I thought was a bit odd was there was 2 scenes where Dumbledore got in fights.
With Credence and with Grindelwald.
And I could not work out if that was in their mind or if other people were seeing it. Like, it was both times it kind of like flipped, and they were in like this weird kind of realm, and it didn't seem
like with Moon Knight.
Yeah, it didn't seem like other people were aware of the fight that was going on. After watching it a second time, the Credence one, fairly certain it was because he actually snuck up behind Credence and kind of put Credence in like a spell. So Credence had fallen to the ground, and then they had a fight in Credence's mind. But then when he came to it, he was just like kind of collapsed on the ground, and Dumbledore was helping him get up, and no one had noticed that they'd had a fight in their mind. But then the second one, with Grindelwald, I'm not too sure.
I assume their fight, because like what Dumbledore said, it was to break the charm that bounded them.
Yeah, so I can't work out if people were aware that fight just happened, or it was in their mind once again.
So why do you feel like this movie's getting the hate? Do you feel like it's to do with the second film, or the Harry Potter franchise, or a mixture, or both, or people just hate the Fantastic Beasts franchises and look down on them?
I think people have a negative idea about the franchise already, which lowers their scores of it. And then
Is that because of the second one, you reckon?
I think maybe because of the second one. Maybe the Johnny Depp thing, people are a bit sour on it, and maybe other people just see. We saw it from a positive lens and liked all these things, and like once you like one part, it builds onto the other. But then maybe other people are fixated on something and they've seen it the other way. So you and I go, oh, we like the replacement actor, and oh, the movie was really funny, and oh, I liked that scene. Where if people look at it from the opposite lens, they go, that scene was not necessary, with the crabs, not funny. They go, didn't like the replacement actor. Oh, the movie felt like it dragged on a bit. Oh, I picked the ending. I saw this. And they're saying the same things as us, but they've just got a negative twist on it. And suddenly they go, oh, it's 5 out of 10 stars. They just give it a low rating. Like, I just think it really depends on where we built. So we were positive from the beginning and saw it as entertaining. But if you went in there thinking it was going to be bad, you could look and pick out bad things, because that's what you're looking for.
Well, to be fair, Johnny Depp wasn't the first actor that played the character. It was just a disguise, and they got rid of the first actor, Colin Farrell. Yeah,
so, I guess I just enjoyed it on face value. I watched it and went, I'm liking this. I don't want it to end. Wow, I didn't see that coming. Oh, this is really cool. And at the end, I thought, great movie. But other people could have just went in there with, their negative pants on and just looked for things that picked out things, because nothing's perfect.
Can you see why those people would have reasons to?
I personally struggled to see what there was to dislike about the film. I mean, it's not perfect, but I still was thoroughly entertained. I've seen it twice, and I'd watch it another time. I just still like it. I think, I don't know. I'm baffled that people. I can see that people maybe don't consider it as high as we did, but some of the opinions out there are that it was horrible, and I think it's far from horrible. I can understand someone goes, oh, it's like, oh, it's like 60%, 70% out of 100. You go, okay, that's fair. But there's people that just think it is such a bad movie and unwatchable, and I don't know where they get that from. I don't know what makes it unwatchable or horrible. I can see if you can go, it's not my favourite, it's not for me, but to say it was horrible is far from horrible.
Any lasting thoughts?
No, I've said all I need to say. I enjoyed it, and I would like to watch it again, and I'm really looking forward to the next one. And yeah, I think they nailed it perfectly. Good ending. The only little bit, at the end, the wedding scene, I didn't dislike it. I just thought that they didn't have to go there yet. That could have been another movie. But, it just when you thought the movie ended, they just added that little extra 5 minutes, and it was just enough for me to go, like, be sitting in my seat ready to go. And that was it. It was just like I was glad that it had finished, and then they chucked in one extra scene, and that's purely the only reason why I disliked it, because I was ready to go.
Yeah, I think my final thoughts is that I think going to a movie with an open mind, I guess I can understand people's mindset, but it's not the actor's fault. It's not, the actor replacing Johnny Depp, that's not his fault. He did a great performance. And I guess the actors playing Grindelwald, I guess it's a little bit cursed or jinxed, and I think it's an entertaining movie for what it is, and instead of seeing it as, you know, a cursed or negative Harry Potter prequel. I think it's better just to see it as a good, fantastical franchise, and I think it's definitely worth seeing if you want to. Don't let the second one hurt its charm, because it's definitely better than the second one. And yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Well, we are the Obi Thorn Alliance. See you in the next video. Let the Force be with you. Bye bye.